Hello, welcome back to our home. Agatha is here again. Oh, she's looking at the camera. So, unnecessary Agatha update, though you pretend that you hate them. Some of you probably don't. Anyway, can you hear that? So, in the chimney somewhere, there are birds that are, I think, antagonizing her over and over and over. Like, they just make these bird noises constantly, and it makes her really mad. She hates birds. I don't know if you know that about cats, but it turns out Agatha really hates birds, and so at all hours she like yells and does whatever really meaningful cat things. So that's your 1 minute update on Agatha. I have things to say about Fortnite. Look, I don't want to go on and on about this, but last week on Thursday, we weren't at school Friday, somebody brought their PS4, and at lunchtime, we played Fortnite. I use air quotes for played Fortnite because here's my hot take. The game is trash. I don't know how else to tell you. It's not good. It's not good. I don't understand the point. Maybe I just need to understand it better. I'm also like not good at video games, so you can say that's the reason. I don't know. But I tried to understand it. No one can explain to me why it exists or what's fun about it or why people continue to play. Y'all, go outside, experience the world. Just, stop playing Fortnite. That's okay. So we're 2 minutes in. I gotta move on. Point is, Agatha is adorable. She still hates birds. They're in a fight, but she and I are doing okay for now. She doesn't understand why I'm not solving the bird problem. So there's that. But also, second thing, first thing, Agatha's great. She hates birds. Second thing, Fortnite, not great. Not a great way to spend your time. Okay, so let's get on to the instructions part of this video. I want you to know that the countdown is still on, that we still have a week together. We have 6 or 5, depending on which day you're doing this assignment, days left until we start testing. We are not changing what we're doing unless what you have been doing is not your best work. So your assignment today is to read an excellent poem. It's called Oranges. It's by Gary Soto. If you don't know anything about him, Google him. He is great. His work is great. If you hate poetry, this is still an excellent poem. There's, surface level stuff. You read a poem, talks about flowers. Your teacher asks, what is this poem about? You say flowers. That's surface level, right? And then we know that lots of times poets use metaphors. They use figurative language, poetic devices to use their words to represent other things, which is part of why many of you hate poetry so much. But I want you to know, in this poem, there's the surface level, what's happening, and then there's the deeper meaning. And so I want you to be able to understand surface level, what's being described, what's happening in the poem, but I don't want you to stop there. Part of the reason we brain dump everything we know at the start, before we ever start reading, is because it helps us remember what to look for. It helps us remember what's important. So when you write poetry at the top of your page here in just a little bit, if you want to do that now, go ahead. Okay, great. After you write poetry or poem, then I want you to take 15 seconds, 30 seconds, write down what you know about poetry. We watched a video 2 weeks ago where we brain dumped. You can go back to that video. You can go to that page in your resource section where you took those notes with the chart with the 3 categories. One of those was poetry. Write down everything you know about poems. Even if you only end up writing down 2 things, the reason I'm asking you to do this as part of every time we read anything in this class and on the STAR test is because it's only going to help you. Last week I talked to you, Miss Spoonmore talked to you about how it's okay, you know, you think it's no big deal when you read a poem one day in class. But on the STAR test, you're going to be reading 8 or 9 different things. Being able to write down what you know about what you're looking at is only going to be a confidence builder. So I want you to take 15, 30 seconds, write down everything you know at the top. Included in that should be figurative language. You remember similes and metaphors. You can write all of that down. Poetry's purpose is to express. Sometimes it tells a story, sometimes it doesn't. It's just its words mean another thing, and so we're supposed to take something from that deeper meaning. So when you read it 3 times, I want you to figure out surface level, what's it talking about here, what's happening in the poem, right? And then, especially for when you fill out what is the message of the poem, think about what could those things be representing. You've got to think about poetry on a deeper level. So my advice to you, the instructions for you, are to brain dump. Write poetry at the top of the page, brain dump everything you know, and then you're going to set up the page, speaker, setting, mood, message. Go ahead and do that now. Pause this video if you need to. Brain dump, set up the page. You're going to read the poem 3 times. I won't do the weird 3 eventual ways, but 3 times is how many times I want you to read it. And part of the reason is that you've got to understand what is it saying, and then you've got to understand what does it mean. What does it mean? You've got to make some inferences, use your skills to figure it out. We cannot take any days off, and so this poem was picked specifically so that you would be able to practice this with a poem like what might show up on the STAR test. This is something that is going to be paired or matched with another thing that you're reading. Either you're reading it tomorrow or you read it yesterday, depending on the day that you're doing this. So you're going to look for connections that you can make. Really hard to make connections if you don't understand what you're reading first. So your task is to do all those things I just talked about. After you read it 3 times, you're going to go back and answer speaker, setting, mood, message. Don't just skip over this. The work that you do answering those questions, hear me say this, the work you do answering those questions is only going to make you get more questions right. It's going to help you do better, okay? After you do that, there's a graphic organizer for you to do. So you're going to go back to the drawers, get the chart, get the graphic organizer from that drawer, and you're going to do every part of that. It is due today. Today is the only time you have to do this assignment. Don't just write words on that paper. Really be thoughtful. Really push yourself. It doesn't matter how comfortable you are with poetry. You absolutely have the ability to do a great job on this. So I'm going to hush. We're at about 8 minutes. Good luck. Work hard. If you have questions, ask them. Agatha is somewhere, so she can't say bye. Stop playing Fortnite and sleep instead. Or like, I don't know, read a book. Okay. See you later.